Welcome to the KonyOne Studio Intro Tutorial Series. This is the Intro to Form and Widget Creation tutorial. In this module, we will cover an overview of the KonyOne Studio user interface, how to create a KonyOne project, creating a form and editing platform-specific properties, creating and editing skins, creating and editing widgets and their properties, applying skins to widgets, modifying margins and padding, using preview mode to review progress. The form that we will create is a mobile home screen for a healthcare application. This form consists of a title bar, a customer logo, and a series of menu buttons that direct the user to different modules. To begin, we will first launch Eclipse. Once Eclipse is open, we will launch the Kony Perspective, which includes all of the KonyOne components. To launch the Kony Perspective, select the Window menu item in Eclipse, Open Perspective, Other. Select the Kony Perspective and then select OK. The KonyOne Perspective includes all of the panels necessary to build and deploy a native or HTML5 mobile web application for mobile, tablet, desktop, and kiosk. The panels include the Applications panel, the Project Navigator, the Form Outline, the Layout Editor, the Widget Palette, the Console, the Properties Editor, Services Editor, and Scraper View, the Skin Editor, and the Emulator Palette. The Kony Project window provides the user an overview of all of the Kony projects in the workspace. Create a new Kony project called My Plan. Once the KonyOne project is created, expand the project to reveal all of the Kony project components. Every Kony project contains the following components. Forms. This includes forms for the three primary channels, mobile, tablet, and kiosk. Pop-ups, headers, and footers. Scripting modules, including LUA and JavaScript. Resources, including media assets for use in the project. And services for integrating the application with enterprise backend systems. We will start by creating a new mobile form. To create a new form, right-click on Mobile and select New Form. Name the form Home and select Finish. Once the form has been created, it will automatically be opened in the Layout Editor. The Layout Editor is a representation of your application form layout and includes the form, containers, and widgets. We will start by setting the basic properties of the form. To do so, we will access the form level properties. Once the element in the Layout Editor is selected, the associated properties will be available in the Property Editor on the right. The Property Editor contains all of the properties associated with a form, container, or widget. General properties are common properties including visibility, title, render settings across platforms, header and footer associations, and timeout settings. Appearance properties include cross-platform margin and padding, location, and size. The available appearance properties are specific to the type of widget being edited. Platform-specific properties are where some of the power of the KonyOne Studio resides. Through platform-specific properties, the user gains access to native and HTML5 mobile web settings that are bound to the native APIs of individual devices and mobile operating systems. These two will differ by widget type. For iPhone, for example, you can specify numerous properties, including the skin, background image, which is optional, and the widget properties for the form. Similarly, for Android, you may specify the skin and background image for the title bar. Let's go back to the form and edit the title, which will appear on the rendered form. Let's call this form My Plan. The form that we are building contains a background, which is set by applying a skin, a customer logo, which is created by using an image widget, and a series of buttons arranged in a grid pattern, which is created by using a series of HBox containers, each with 3 buttons. We will need to start by importing the image assets provided by the UI designer into the project. To import resources into a project, you can right-click on the resources level of the project and select New Resource. In this case, we will simply copy the resources into the Resources folder of the project workspace. The KonyOne Studio provides the capability to specify resources separately for different devices and channels. For example, you may provide assets for the iPhone Retina display in the Mobile Rich Client, iPhone folder, and similarly for Android and other channels in the appropriate folders. The common resource must first be placed in the common folder of the resources directory. Any files that are applied for unique channels must follow the same naming convention as the files placed in the unique platform folders. Now we will set the form background. Select the form either in the Outline panel or in the Layout editor. Then, using the Properties panel, select the skin options for the form. A form contains numerous form options. We will focus on the normal skin, which is the default display for the form. Selecting the normal skin options will provide the user a list of default skins to choose from. In this case, we want to add a custom skin, which will contain our background. Select Add Skin. Skins provide a level of UI customization across platforms, and the options available differ depending on the type of widget. The user may specify background properties, font properties, border properties, mobile, web, and HTML5 properties including CSS3, and platform-specific options. Select the Background tab to modify the background properties. Let's name the skin Background. Select the Style pull-down to apply a background. The background properties provides numerous options to style a background, including a single color, two-color gradient, stepped gradient, or image. The options available differ by widget, and in some cases, by platform. In this case, we will apply an image. Browse to the image to apply to the background. The image must be in a PNG format. The resource files must be in the Resources folder for the current project. Select the form Background and save the skin. You will notice that the background now displays a preview of the image that has been applied to the background skin. Now that we have the form attributes set, we will need to start adding widgets. The Kony Widgets palette is broken down into 3 sections: Container Widgets, Basic Widgets, and Advanced Widgets. Container widgets are shells into which other widgets are placed. An HBox provides the capability to stack widgets next to each other horizontally on a form, while a VBox widget does the same vertically. The more powerful Scrollbox widget provides the capability to create a split-pane scrolling form. Basic widgets include numerous data entry and display widgets, including text entry, slider, line, text area, menu item, list box, radio button and checkbox groups, and more. Advanced widgets include the powerful KonyOne segment view, browser, camera, map, image gallery, image strip, 3D object selector, and many more. To apply the customer logo, drag an image widget onto the form. In the Properties panel, select the source of the image widget, and select the logo file that has been placed in the Resources directory. To display a row of buttons, we will first need an HBox container. Drag an HBox container widget onto the form. Next, drag a button widget inside the HBox widget. We will first need to set the skin for the button widget. Select the button widget, and navigate to the skin properties in the Properties panel. A button has separate skins for the unfocused or deselected state, as well as the selected or focused state. Select Skin. Add skin to first add a skin for the unselected state. Let's name the skin Home Urgent Care. Select the background image to be applied in the unselected state. Now that we have a few widgets that have been applied to the form, let's see what it looks like. The KonyOne emulators provide the capability to launch device-specific emulators once the project has been built to test the application. The Studio also provides a powerful preview capability to view in near real time the current form. To preview a form, select the Preview option in the Layout editor. You can preview on any number of platforms and channels in real time. In this case, let's focus only on Android. Select the native Android channel to preview. Expand the desired platform to reveal the available emulators for that platform. To open the Android emulator in preview mode, right-click on the desired Android emulator and select Open in Preview. Once the emulator launches and the preview app has been installed, select Menu Quick Preview. Comparing the form that we have built so far with the final form, we see some issues right off the bat. First, the image widget is not centered on the page. The button widget takes up the entire width of the form, and we have no margins. To center the image widget, select the image widget. Navigate to the Appearance properties and select the Alignment properties. Change this to Middle Center. Let's preview again. Select the Preview option in the Layout Editor. Notice that the image widget alignment has been corrected. However, the button widget is still taking up the entire width of the HBox container. To correct this, select the button widget. Notice that the Expand Horizontal property is set to True. When set to True, the widget will expand to fill the available space of the parent widget. Set this property to False, and preview again. The width issue has been addressed, but notice that there are still no margins. Additionally, there is text on the button widget, which we need to remove. The margin is defined as the percentage of screen space that a widget is distanced from the neighboring form widget, or neighboring element. Let's add margins to the widgets on the form. Select the image widget, and in the Properties panel, navigate to the Margins options. Select Edit to modify the platform-specific margins. Notice that for every platform and for every channel, the user may manage the margins separately. Set the top margin to 15 for the image widget. Select the HBox widget which contains the button, and set the top margin to 30. Select the button widget, and to remove the text on the button widget, remove the default text. Let's continue by adding the additional buttons to the screen. We can simply copy and paste the existing button to replicate. We can also copy the entire HBox widget with all three buttons. We have too many buttons on the screen, so we will need to delete the bottom right button. Select the button and hit Delete. Notice that all of the widgets are now available. However, we need to correct a few more issues. The top margin on the second and third HBoxes is too big. The margins on the first two rows of buttons looks okay, but the third row will need to be set differently. By default, elements within an HBox use the size percentage to determine positioning within the HBox, combined with margin. When this is set to false, the widget will only use the margin to determine positioning. Since we have a different number of buttons in the last HBox, it will be easier to have this turned off for each HBox. Let's correct the top margin on the second and third HBox containers. Let's set this to a smaller number. Select all of the buttons on the form at once to edit simultaneously. Set the left margin to 15. To center the bottom two buttons, select the bottom left button and set the left margin to 60. Let's do another preview. All of the layout has been addressed. Now we will need to set unique skins for all of the buttons. When trying to manage a larger number of skins, it is more convenient to use the Skins panel. This panel provides a consolidated list of all skins for the given project, categorized by widget type. Expand the button widget option. Let's first create a focused or selected state skin for the first button. Select the Home Urgent Care skin that was previously created, select Copy, and paste. Let's name the skin Home Find Dr. F to designate it as a focused skin. Let's do the same for all of the buttons. we will need to create an unfocused skin and a focused skin for all of the remaining buttons. Once all of the skins have been created, we will need to edit each skin to apply the appropriate image resource. Now we will need to apply the appropriate skin to each of the buttons. The form is now complete. We covered how to create a KonyOne project, create and edit form properties, add container and basic widgets to a form, apply and manage skins, and preview the form. Now that we have built the project for native, porting it to HTML5 mobile web is made easy using the Platform Porting tool. This tool will transfer widget and form properties, skin properties, and every other platform-specific setting from one platform to another. You may use this tool to port from one native or mobile web channel to another. To access the Platform Porting tool, right-click on the project in the project pane and select Utilities, Platform Porting. First, you will need to select the source platform. In this case, we are porting from Android, so select Android in the source platform pull-down. This will deactivate native Android as a destination platform. Next, select the destination platform. To keep this example simple, we will select HTML5 Android as the destination. Next, we will select all of the attributes that we desire to port. Select All. We will then select Finish. The Studio will now port all of the selected properties to HTML5 mobile web. To preview mobile web, return to the emulator and open the browser application. Once the browser is launched, enter in the following URL to preview mobile web. You will need to replace the machine name with your host name, and will need to make sure that the port matches the port that the local Kony Studio is configured for. This concludes the Intro to Form and Widget Creation tutorial. For additional information on form and widget creation and other tutorials, please visit developer.kony.com.